All right, got that started. Welcome everybody for the January 2022 edition of the Peak Radio Association meeting. I am Anthony, KE70SN, chair of the board, and I am coming to you from rural Marion County, somewhere outside of Almsville. And I'll go around as long as stuff doesn't move too much and see if I can get everybody. So I have first over here, Ted.
I'm Ted, W7RTM Club Secretary, and good evening all.
Anna.
I'm Annalise McDermott. You can call me Anna, and I am in metropolitan Lebanon, Oregon.
Paul B.
Good evening, Paul Branchfield, W7PEB, about halfway between Winston and Roseburg, rural.
Mike.
Mike, W7RIS, located about 10 miles north of Corvallis.
Steve.
I'm Steve, KW7F, and I'm in Northwest Corvallis.
Tyler.
Tyler, WB7DD, and I'm in South Corvallis.
Andy.
I'm Andy, W7AAU, about 7 miles southeast of Corvallis.
John.
John Shaw, K7JU, South Eugene.
Drew.
Drew Terrell in Southeast Albany, and I am W3HES.
Buzz.
Buzz, KB7FD in Bend.
Welcome. Pat.
Howdy, Pat Eastman, downtown Albany, K7PWE.
And last on the list, Joe.
Hello, Joe, K7BIK. I'm on the west edge of Corvallis. As you're leaving Corvallis to go to Philomath.
Welcome everybody, and especially good to see everybody made it through the new year. So we'll see what the next one brings. So first order of business, secretary's report. Ted.
So Sunday, I sent out the meetings from December meeting. If everybody had an opportunity to read that, it is on the Peak Radio Association reflector. If you have any comments, updates, deletions, additions, let me know. It's W7RTM@ARRL.net. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted. Treasurer's report. Andy.
Treasurer report for January 15, 2022. Our OSCU total balance is $4,546.48. We've got $120.60 in our PayPal account. There's $0 in our Square Up account. And we have $27.30 in cash for a total of $4,694.68. And 4 cents interest we are.
All right, thanks, Andy. And then one note I wanted to throw in about dues. So we've had several people that have paid dues multiple times in the last few months. And the way the system is set up for that is if you pay more than a year's dues, the system will put in an additional years of membership on top of that. And so if your membership was set to expire on January 1, 2022, and you paid 2 years worth of dues, that would extend that membership to 2024. And so that's kind of the one thing with that I wanted to add is that it will, in theory, the way the system is set up, you'll send you a one receipt per per membership year. So if you, I think there's somebody who sent us a check that included 3 years worth of dues, and that that person should have gotten three receipts for the 3 years worth of dues. So if you get something like that, that's what it is. I think in theory we can add multiple combinations, but I guess it gets more complicated.
Is it still possible to pay online? Because I was looking at that the other day and I couldn't find it anymore.
So it's through Ham Club online instead of the WSMPRA.com.
Oh, I see. Ham Club online.
Yeah. And I believe I can send you, I'll make a note here to email you the link to where that's at.
Great, that'll be helpful. Thanks.
Yep. All right. See, old business and previous events. So how did everybody's radioing during the holidays go? I'm assuming everybody got all their worked all states and their DXCC while they were frantically hiding from the rest of the family.
So I'd mentioned it earlier that I've finally finished up my worked all states. So that's a nine band worked all states minus 60 meters. And I'm kind of plugging away slowly on 6 meters, but things have been so nice because I was just looking at sunspot numbers, solar flux index and that stuff. And that looks very gorgeous to get a little DXing done. But the next thing I'm kind of working on is trying to finish up my 5-band DXCC. So that's the next on my list to finish up. And while I'm doing it, I'm still trying to work on my zones. So both the CQ zones and the ITU zones, want to finish those things up too.
I was happy that I placed number 2 in my class in the November sweepstakes sideband in Oregon. So that's not a horrible showing. Although number 1 was like 2 times my points, but it is what it is.
And is that class the fanciest radios on the planet class?
It's not, I didn't do unlimited. I don't do unlimited because I don't really believe in spotting during a contest. Using the internet just feels like cheating. So yeah, I was high power. But you know, having a 1.5 kilowatt amp these days, you know, you get heard a little bit better.
All right. Any other old business or previous events from the last month or so? All right. New business and upcoming events. So first up I have is Winter Field Day will be January 29th and 30. So check out that. And my understanding is the Salem Area Ham Fair at Rick Real is on, and I'm trying to remember and frantically Google when that is. I believe it's sometime in mid-February, like.
It usually is.
I have it on the 19th of February.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I know a couple people are going to have tables, so see if how many of us actually make it out there with everything else going on, but should be a good time for find some really nice junk out there. And then the kind of the other housekeeping thing I have on the list is March is traditionally our official membership meeting with the elections. for the board. So nominations for board positions will open officially for the next meeting in February. So if anybody is interested in one of the positions, the list of them is there's the chair, there's the secretary, the treasurer, the club trustee, and then there are 3 at-large board positions. And if you have any questions about the duties or responsibilities of any of those positions, feel free to ask around, and any of us would be happy to fill you in. And as we've said before, I don't think anybody on the board would be hurt at all if anybody else wanted to run for one of the positions. Most of us have held those spots for a while. I know I'm probably looking to see if there's somebody else that wants to try their hand at chair for a little while. But yeah, so keep that in mind. So next month we'll have nominations for elections. Also, if there's any amendments to the bylaws or any big changes to the club, those generally need to be submitted a month prior to the meeting where they're voted on. So if anybody has any changes to club bylaws that they want to propose, have that ready for next month. And then with that, any other new business or upcoming events?
One of the things,
Go ahead, Mike.
okay, one of the things I wanted to mention was the DX convention down in Visalia. That was just a couple of days back, that was canceled. So that's a big, huge event down there. That's really cool, and it's really sad to see it canceled, but that's where it goes. I'm still kind of curious to see how CPAC is going to go this year. That's it.
I have an announcement / brag that I'd like to put out there. We found out a couple of weeks ago, formally notified from the government, that Flex Radio Systems won the contract to provide the next generation HF radios for the U.S. Air Force wide-body aircraft. So we won the contract that we've been working on for the past 1.5 or 2 years, and we'll be putting the brand new radios on everything from C5 Galaxies to KC-130 tankers and anything that's a big Air Force aircraft. It'll probably make it into the Navy and Marine Corps too. So, yeah.
Well, that's great.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Sometimes little guys win.
So basically, your company, nobody's going to have a life for a while.
We haven't had a life for 1.5 years anyway, but it's going to get worse. We were saying amongst ourselves, amongst the software team at least, there's a piece of me that's afraid we're going to lose, but there's a piece of me that's afraid we're going to win. So we're certain, to a certain extent, the dog that caught the car now. So now we got to make everything work. But
Also known as
Congrats.
you're hiring.
yeah, we are actually. If you know software engineers, or you're a software engineer that would like to work for a ham radio company in Austin, Texas, we are literally looking to double the size of our engineering teams, both on the hardware and the software side. So for the software side, that's probably 6 more software engineers. So if you have the skills and any interest, then I'll let you contact me, and I'll let you know when we get openings open.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's kind of that's an amazing brag.
Well, I mean, we won over companies like Collins. So Collins Radio was eliminated. And this is pretty big for us, because now that we won the Air Force contract, now we have some credibility. So, government and people are coming out of the woodwork to find out about our radios and see if there's something they can do. So we have talking with a company called General Atomics. They make a great little product called the MQ-9 Predator. And they want to put our radios on a Predator drone so that they can control them over HF rather than VHF, UHF.
Very, very cool.
So the good thing for you guys is that, one, we get the money to hang around for a while, and two, all this newer technology that we get to build for the Air Force gets to get rolled back into the amateur radios when we're done with the project.
That's cool. That puts you in the same category as all the Arc 5 equipment. From World War II.
Actually, we are replacing the AN ARC 190 is the radio that we replace on those aircraft.
Interesting. My first radios were Arc 5.
All right. Anything else?
Hamcation is coming up next month. If anybody wants to fly out to Orlando and get COVID, I might do that myself, but you know, we'll see. Since that's getting big lately, I mean, it's almost as Hamcation in Orlando is almost as big as Dayton/Xenia these days.
Yeah, I'll just stick around and catch it locally. Thanks.
This weekend's the North American QSO party.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order?
I've been getting a lot into the AREDN mesh networking. If anybody else is interested in that and wants to chat with me about it, you can drop me an email and I'm happy to get you into it. There's kind of a good little core group here in Lebanon, at least, that's trying to get things going. So yeah, if anybody has any interest in that, then I'm starting to get addicted to that.
While not involved in that at all, I will say that I know there's a pretty good group going down in Eugene that's affiliated with Valley Radio. So you probably already know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Nathan and I are good friends.
Okay. Okay. You are linked.
I had a question.
Sure.
Actually, in May, our club liability insurance policy renews. It's only about $130 a year. And we have had to supply it in order to use the Corvallis park system for our field day events. So we haven't actually been using it because we haven't been doing field day. So I'm suggesting that we continue to keep the policy so that we have it in place should we get together again as a group on public property. We have liability insurance. But whether or not to spend that money is is up to us. Everybody gets a chance to decide whether to do that. A club meeting resolution authorized the treasurer to make those payments without any further discussion. But I'm bringing it up for discussion just to let everybody know that it's coming due. Unless I'm instructed otherwise, I will pay the premium. But I'm going to make everybody aware that we can choose not to do it if we're not having any public organized events that we're participating in. We don't need the insurance. And so for me, I'll pay the insurance unless you decide not to.
All right. Yeah, I think between potential field day and 7QP, I think it's much rather have the policy and pay the premium than need it at some point and have to scramble to get something together or not have it. So I think in my mind, that's a minor expense compared to the umbrella it covers. So All right,
Agree.
and with, oh, go ahead.
I agree. We should keep the policy in effect.
All right, and with that, I think we'll turn it over for presentation.